A very good evening. Welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Ashinsani Veerasinghe. Let's have a look at the headlines first. Tourism industry requests a relief on the payment of electricity bills as well as abolishing 1% local council tax. Buses and trains started carrying passengers according to the available number of seats in districts where the curfew was relaxed. News in detail. The curfew was lifted at 5 a.m. today and was reimposed at 8 p.m. today for 23 districts, while the civilian life and work in the public and private organizations in Colombo and Gampaha districts continued today amidst the curfew. In the meantime, SLTB and private buses and trains have started to carry passengers according to the available number of seats in districts where the curfew was relaxed from today. Accordingly, out of the 20 COVID-19 positive cases confirmed yesterday, a total of 18 are identified as Navy officers. One is a close contact of a Navy officer and the other patient had undergone mandatory quarantine at the Kandakadu facility. Subsequently, the total count of coronavirus cases in Sri Lanka has surpassed 890 with the 2 new cases found in the afternoon. As per the Health Promotion Bureau information, 382 patients have been discharged after a successful recovery as of 3 p.m. today. Subsequently, SLTB and private buses and trains carried passengers in non-curfew areas today as per the decision taken during a meeting convened by Passenger Transport Management Minister Mahinda Amravira with ministry officials yesterday. On the other hand, employees engaged in public and private organizations in curfew-forced districts of Colombo and Gampaha reported to work today. In the meantime, the number of curfew violators from March 20th has exceeded 53,000. Subsequently, taverns and bars in non-curfew areas are opened from today. The liquor stores at supermarkets in Colombo and Gampaha districts were allowed to resume sales. Moreover, 69 individuals at Damminna Quarantine Centre were sent home today after the completion of the 14-day quarantine period. 127 students from the Poonani Quarantine Centre were also sent home after the quarantine process. They were repatriated to Sri Lanka on April 28 from India's Bangalore University. 6 associations directly work in the tourism industry have separately met Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga to look for the ways and means to garner fresh inputs for a quick revival of the industry. The associations have also suggested a relief on the payment of electricity bills as well as abolishing 1% local council tax. A number of representatives from 6 tourism-related associations have met Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga to discuss the inconvenience the tourism industry had faced at present. During the discussion, they have submitted an appeal for state support to pay the wages of minor staff in addition to other relief measures provided to survive during the COVID-19 outbreak period. Representatives from the Association for Small and Medium Enterprises in Tourism, the Hotels Association of Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka Association of Inbound Tour Operators, Sri Lanka Institute of National Tourist Guide Lecturers, Chauffeur Tourist Guides Lecturers Association and National Tourist Drivers Association have brought the Minister a number of recommendations both in the short and medium terms. The associations also pointed out that the banks were still not willing to provide the concessionary working capital loan of 4% interest rates without any collateral or business revival proposals. Representatives of these associations were demanding financial relief to those engaged in the sector until tourists return, in tandem with relaxation of global travel restrictions and reopening of airports and resumption of airline services. They also revealed that they had highlighted that the soft loans outlined by the government have not come through, adding that with no cash flow, hotels and companies are unable to pay salaries for staff and had run into many labour issues. They have also shown that the estimated wage bill of all registered hotels in Sri Lanka is around 6 billion rupees. Central Bank data says that Sri Lankan rupee closed around 188 rupees and 25 to 45 cents to the US dollar yesterday, and it was a slight change from a day earlier after being actively quoted. Showing a slight appreciation today, Sri Lankan rupees buying rate went up as 184 rupees and 54 cents and the selling rate was 190 rupees and 34 cents. On Monday, Sri Lankan rupee closed around 188 rupees and 32.50 cents to the US dollar, and yesterday it was shown a slight downturn. Sri Lanka is going through a consumption collapse after 2 months of curfews, and private credit growth is expected to be low in 2020. Meanwhile, the experts also say that the rupee came under pressure from money printed to target interest rates and finance the deficit before private credit eased. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's stocks surged 2.94% in the first 30 minutes of trading after steep falls over 2 days, while a sensitive index of liquid stocks rose 5.5% provisional stock exchange in a broad-based rally. Commercial Bank gained 6.7% to 58 rupees and 50 cents. John Keel's holdings rose to 0.74% to 94 rupees and 80 cents when the trading was resumed for the day. Tess Agro and the Blue Diamond headed the list of top gainers for the day, and Natona Lanka Finance and the LOLC Development Finance headed the list of top losers during the day. However, John Keel's Commercial and Sampath Bank remained as the most active companies during the trading today. Sri Lanka's stock market was opened for trading last Monday after a 7-week-long closure, annoying foreign investors, and a sensitive index of stocks fell 10%. We will be back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. Highlighting that the plantation sector has a key role to play in building the local economy, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa notes that it is vital to quickly transform loss-making plantations into profitable ventures. He made this observation yesterday at the Presidential Secretariat while exploring ways of maximizing the productivity of the plantation sector whilst returning to normalcy and recommencing the economy. Accordingly, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa states that by working towards a target, the plantation sector has the potential to be a significant contributor to the national economy. Progressive steps must be taken to secure adequate profits by regulating the exporting of timber from the plantation corporation, President instructed. He stressed the importance of ensuring the food security for the people and also discussed at length the measures needed to promote exports. Addressing the meeting, Minister of Plantation Industries and Export Agriculture Dr. Ramesh Patirana added that in 2018, the income from export crops was 538 billion rupees and the ministry is hoping to build this to a 753 billion rupees industry by this year. At the meeting, the potential of the rural cashew cultivation to strengthen the rural economy, the need to reconstruct tanks to support the plantation sector and to involve the Ministry of Forest Conservation and Lands to help resolving issues faced by the plantation sector were also discussed. Subsequently, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has yesterday reviewed the current status of the proposed unique digital identity card, which will be issued by obtaining biodata of all citizens, and thereby, President has asked the officials to expedite the process. Digital ID card will include information that has to be furnished not only for obtaining passports and driving licenses, but also for purposes of pension, Samruddhi allowance, income tax, and casting vote. The new identity card will be prepared by a committee of experts under the direction of Information and Communication Technology Agency and the supervision of a presidential task force. The International Monetary Fund initially forecasted that the world will face the worst recession since the 1930s Great Depression, with gross domestic product output shrinking 3% in 2020 due to the coronavirus pandemic. However, International Monetary Fund Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva now stresses that it is very likely that the IMF would further cut its global growth forecast since the coronavirus pandemic is hitting many economies harder than formerly projected.
Incoming economic data for many countries is below our already pessimistic assessment for 2020. And with no immediate medical solutions, more adverse scenarios might unfortunately materialize for some economies. So it is the unknown about the behavior of this virus that is clouding the horizon for projections, assuming that we will see treatment and vaccines coming no later than early in 2021, then we can count on recovery. But let me make it very clear. We are thinking not of calendars for the next stages. We are thinking of a roadmap. In other words, data-dependent assessment as to how moving from stabilization to restart to recovery will go.
UNICEF says an additional 6,000 children could die every day from preventable causes over the next 6 months as the coronavirus pandemic continues to weaken health systems and interrupt routine services. In the meantime, more than 4.2 million COVID-19 cases have been recorded worldwide, including more than 291,000 deaths. Accordingly, more than 1.4 million COVID-19 cases are reported from the US, along with more than 83,000 deaths. The top US infectious diseases doctor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, has warned senators that the coronavirus will spread further if the country opens up too soon. He also said the real US death toll is probably higher than the official figure of more than 80,000. He also cautioned of the risk of triggering an outbreak that officials would not be able to control, adding that such an outbreak would set back economic recovery and lead to suffering and death. Subsequently, Hong Kong officials confirmed that 2 new locally transmitted coronavirus cases have been recorded in the city for the first time in 22 days. The 2 cases are a 66-year-old grandmother and her 5-year-old granddaughter who do not live together. The Hong Kong Department of Health warned that the new cases showed an invisible transmission chain and that officials would not rule out the possibility of future locally transmitted cases and a community outbreak. In the meantime, the UK economy shrank by 2% in the first quarter of this year, with GDP contracting by 5.8% in March alone, which is the biggest monthly fall since the data series began in 1997, the Office for National Statistics said. Subsequently, South Korea nightclub cluster grows and more than 120 cases have been linked to an outbreak in Seoul's Itaewon nightlife district. With fears of a second wave, authorities in South Korea have tested more than 20,000 people in relation to the outbreak. In the meantime, UNICEF published a report yesterday saying an additional 6,000 children could die every day from preventable causes over the next 6 months as the coronavirus pandemic continues to weaken health systems. The organization said that based on the worst case of 3 scenarios in 118 low and middle income countries, the analysis estimates that an additional 1.2 million deaths of children under the age of 5 could occur in just 6 months due to reductions in routine health service coverage levels. UNICEF further added some 56,700 more maternal deaths could occur in just 6 months, in addition to the 144,000 deaths that have already taken place in the same countries over the same period. And that's all the news for today. Join us tomorrow at the same time with State of Business. Until then, take care. Good night.